The Hat Man is described as a mysterious shadow figure of a man wearing a long trench coat and a top hat. Many people have reported seeing this creepy man during nighttime, usually standing ominously in the middle of doorways, alleyways, or sometimes lurking in the dark corners of a room. It is said that this man has no distinguishable features apart from his tall and dark silhouette, and although it is usually impossible to make out his face or eyes, you can still feel him staring straight at you. If you search around the internet, it is pretty evident that a lot of people have reported seeing this strange man at least once in their lifetime. In a Reddit thread named "Who Else Has Seen the Hat Man?", many people have shared their encounters with this shadow figure, like a Redditor going by the username GSReckoning1, who wrote about how they saw the Hat Man during work. Worked at a Chinese joint in Ohio. When I was 16-17, I was taking the trash out at 9 o'clock, like any other ordinary night. The dumpster is at the corner of an alleyway intersection. As I threw the trash in and turned to my left, down the alley there was a 7 to 8 feet tall man with a top hat. To me, it was an all-black figure, no detail, just darkness. I glanced back as he stood there and began to run inside the building. I grabbed one of my coworkers to come look with me, but when we walked outside, the man was gone. Haven't seen him since. The Reddit user described the man as a 7 to 8 feet tall dark figure wearing a top hat, which is the very same description that can be traced to many other sightings of the Hat Man. Another Reddit post called "What's Up with the Hat Man?" tells the story of a Redditor, Crayola Penguin, who explains that when they were a child, they used to see a tall shadow man with a top hat and no face standing in front of their doorway at night. Interestingly enough, the author mentions that they never really felt unsafe or scared of the shadow figure, claiming they even used to wave at the man, and he would sometimes wave back at them. This is in line with the other reports of encounters with the Hat Man, as although he is known to stare and stalk people, there were never any instances where he would actually cause them any kind of harm. At the end of the post, Crayola Penguin asks the community whether they have any theories on who the Hat Man could be and why he kept haunting them during their childhood. Although there are many different explanations as to why the Hat Man appears, including sleep paralysis or claims that he is an actual demon. One commenter wrote that the Hat Man is commonly associated with Benadryl usage, and that many people who have taken this drug have had similar experiences. For those who don't know, Benadryl is an antihistamine used to treat symptoms of allergy or cold. However, one of the common side effects associated with this pharmaceutical include drowsiness, sleepiness, and confusion. This may leave the consumers feeling as if they are sedated, with some people even experiencing hallucinations or delirium because of it. What makes this explanation much scarier though is a reply that was left under the initial comment when another Redditor wrote, "Pharmacy Tech here, and came here to say this. It's really wild that so many people see the Hat Man. But this post immediately made me think OP's parents were dosing them at bedtime as a kid. I've had serious sleep issues almost all my life and heavily relied on Benadryl for sleep in my teens and 20s. I have never once seen the Hat Man. I've experienced the full body sense of spiders crawling all over me before I'd fall asleep though. I'm so glad I don't take it anymore." This really makes you question whether the OP of this Reddit post could have indeed been drugged with the antihistamine by their own parents during childhood. The suspicion increases when you read the author's reply. "It does make me suspicious. They said I was a really good sleeper, and I did take a lot of meds as a kid, as I was chronically ill." This comment thread, coupled with the fact that the OP expressed they would see the Hat Man specifically at night, does make it feel that Benadryl could have been the cause of what this person was experiencing. However, while the aforementioned theory of the shadow figure's presence might be convincing, there is another question that is left unanswered, which is, why does everyone keep seeing the same shadow figure with matching descriptions? Is it just a coincidence, or is he actually real? The answer as to why everyone is hallucinating the exact same man could be linked to the 2008 Dream Man craze, when thousands of people were supposedly dreaming of the same uncanny-looking man. This internet sensation started with the website called Ever Dreamed This Man, where the picture of the man was first posted. The website featured a story of how a patient of a well-known psychiatrist allegedly drew this eerie picture of the man and claimed that she keeps seeing him in her dreams. After a few days, another patient noticed the picture and also complained of the same mysterious man visiting his dreams. This prompted the psychiatrist to share the image with his colleagues, which led to the discovery of 4 more people who have had dreams of the man, all of them referring to him as this man. The website then states that currently over 8,000 people all over the world have reported seeing the face in their dreams, even though they have never met or seen it in real life. The story of this man soon went viral, and many people came out claiming that they too have dreamt of the man. However, there was a catch. The website, image, and the story were all completely made up for an art project by an Italian sociologist and marketeer, Andrea Natella. This means that all of the people who claim that they have dreamt of the man's face most probably only dreamt of him after spotting the picture somewhere. The same is likely true for the Hatman case. A creepy tall man figure wearing a top hat has been portrayed in a lot of pop culture media, including movies such as The Babadook or A Nightmare on Elm Street, which coupled with the recent popularity of the Hatman would then explain the widespread phenomena as simply the work of people's subconscious. The Mimic is a mysterious paranormal entity that is believed to taunt people by imitating the voice or behavior of somebody they might know. The origin of the Mimic can be traced back to Appalachian folklore, specifically to that of Wendigos, which are evil spirits known to use such mimicry in order to lure or trick their victims. Although stories about mimics are commonly seen as nothing more but urban legends and hoaxes, if you look it up online, you can actually find tons of eerie real-life videos of people who claim to have interacted with this ghost. One of such videos is posted by a TikTok creator, Valeria Eros, who caught a familiar voice calling out to her from the darkness.
I swear there's someone outside my room. Wait. Hey. Hey.
As seen in the recording, the creator mentions that she thinks there is someone else in her house, after which you can hear multiple creepy haze coming from behind one of the doors. If you listen to the voice closely, you may realize that it sounds quite similar to that of Valeria's, which has prompted a lot of people to assume the entity calling out to be indeed a mimic. After the video blew up on TikTok, the creator made a follow-up, explaining that despite the horrifying encounter, she is doing fine and hasn't been negatively affected by it in any way. However, she also mentions that she still has similar experiences up to this day, and that she has also come to find out that her house has a history of similar hauntings. Considering the fact that the creator does not usually post content of this format or type, the video seems pretty authentic. There are many more people who have come out and complained of having similar experiences to that of Valerius. For example, a Reddit user by the name of Successful Dress 167 shared their experience with this creepy entity on r/paranormal. In the post, the author starts off by expressing that they have never posted on such subreddits before. They go on by saying that they have experienced strange phenomena before. For example, weird sounds, feeling like they're being watched, or their Alexa suddenly changing volume settings, as well as detecting voices even though nobody in the household was speaking to Alexa at the time. They also mentioned that they once heard a very loud knocking sound on their bedroom door in the middle of the night while everyone in the house was sleeping. The author explains that they have always been convincing themselves that none of the stuff they were experiencing was real, or that it could have been explained in a rational way. However, 2 months before writing this post, the author seemingly had an experience that changed their outlook on the situation. The last 3 paragraphs of the post read, "But then, about 2 months ago, I was sat downstairs with my mom watching TV. She paused it so that she could go to the bathroom, so I went to go and make us a cuppa. She'd got upstairs, and then about a minute later, as clear as day, I hear her shout my name. So I walk towards the stairs, and she's coming down at the same time, and before I say anything, she asks me if I shouted for her. I told her that no, I didn't, and that I thought she shouted for me. We both thought it was creepy, but laughed it off until my mom came into my room tonight, and said that my dad, who's extremely skeptical, said that last after my mom had went to bed, he stayed downstairs to watch a movie. He had heard what he thought was my mom whisper or shout his name, and that he's absolutely sure it came from the kitchen. He said it couldn't have come from anywhere else, because the stairs was on the other side of the house. He went into the kitchen and nothing was there apart from an open cupboard. He went upstairs to make sure my mom was in bed, and she was. The door was closed and she was fast asleep. I think it's becoming obvious that there is something with us, and it's starting to bother me. I don't think it's a ghost. I don't know what it is. But when I read up about mimics, I was wondering if there is a possibility that this could be one. We have lived in this house for 15 years, and nothing like this has ever happened, not apart from the small stuff I mentioned earlier. So I need your guys' advice. Was this a ghost or a spirit? Or was it a mimic? Should I be cautious? Thank you guys for reading. I would appreciate anything you have to say. The encounter described in the post is surely creepy. It also does not look completely unrealistic, as the author probably had genuine concerns and sought for any advice. If you go to the comments of this post, a lot of commenters seem to be quite sure that what Successful Dress encountered was definitely a mimic, with some sharing their own encounters with the same creature. This, alongside the many Appalachian folklore legends about the entities resembling the mimic, really make you wonder whether this ghost could really be out there. However, there is no real evidence that mimics exist, as there are many explanations as to what the occurrences could actually be. In the case of the video posted by Valeria Eros, a person in the comments mentioned that based on the loudness and timing of the voice, it is very likely that the creator simply recorded herself talking and played the audio on a speaker placed somewhere behind the door. Besides the possibility that the videos or stories could have been made up for entertainment or clout purposes, another theory that several people have suggested is that some individuals or families who are seemingly haunted by the mimic might be suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning. Long exposure to this gas can often severely impact the mental and emotional well-being of those affected, sometimes leading to psychosis-like symptoms and hallucinations, which could explain why some people may hear these familiar voices or sounds when nobody is actually around. The condition is actually known to be one of the biggest causes of haunting reports. and it can also be easily overlooked, as even the smallest gas leak may cause this dangerous substance to build up in a house and cause these terrifying and confusing symptoms. The New Jersey Devil, also known as the 13th Child, is an urban legend about a demonic creature that roams the woods of New Jersey pinelands. This being is said to resemble a kangaroo with a goat's head, pointy tail, bat wings, claws, and hooves, and is known to scare people away with its screeching screams. According to the original story, in the year 1735, a woman, commonly referred to as Mother Leeds, was pregnant with her 13th child. It is said that Mother Leeds did not want to raise yet another child and thus cursed her newborn baby by asking the devil to take it away from her after it's born. At first glance, the baby was born healthy and normal, but moments later, it shapeshifted into a devil-like creature and flew away into the night. Although this legend is more than a century old, sightings of the Jersey Devil are still being reported. Up to this day, there are many reports of people hearing or encountering the devil, with some individuals even sharing photographs or videos of what they claim to be the strange creature. However, there is no confirmation on whether any of the camera footage is actually real, as it could have been easily faked by using props or media editing programs. Either way, in the case of the legend of Jersey Devil being real, there is still not much to worry about, as it is highly likely that the story was fabricated. In the late 17th and early 18th centuries, the father and son of the Lead family, Daniel and Titan, were known almanac publishers, who both suffered public scrutiny, as the publications often opposed the beliefs of then influential Christian group in the area, with Daniel even being called out for allegedly working with the devil. In addition to this, the son, Titan Lead, also got into a public feud with his competitor, Benjamin Franklin, with the former jokingly accusing Lead of being a ghost after failing to predict his death in one of his almanac series. These controversies might have been the true origin of the legend, as it is very likely that the story was made up and passed around in order to bring down the reputation of the family. This, alongside the fact that the Lead family crest somewhat represents the creature that is now known as the Jersey Devil, prove that the urban legend was just part of an elaborate hoax, and that the Jersey Devil is most likely nothing more than fiction.